are people in the world who, it doesn't matter who they talk to, they leave that person better than how they found them. Lauren is absolutely one of those people.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Obviously, you can tell I'm not very comfortable.
We love Lauren because we get to spend time with her all the time, and we want others to see that too.
Okay, I forgot to ask, where should I be looking, at you or at the camera? Sorry.
And she shares my excitement. I know that I could call her on a really hard day, or even in her case, she always shows up in my door with something special on a really hard day.
So we're so close. She's like a sister to me.
They are like sisters.
Yes.
She's the kind of friend that I know that will always be there to do that for me.
She can just make us laugh like you cannot believe.
So we're going right now. Okay. Okay, promise I'll do better.
I think anybody that she's ever come into contact with could turn around and only say a positive thing about her.
There's just something fun about her.
I'm usually never at a loss for words ever, and even as you're saying this now, you're like, where did I grow up? I was like, where did I grow up?
She just has a love of life.
My name is Lauren Augustinelli. Oh, God.
She's just a joy to have around. Joy would probably
Joy
be
is
better.
good.
She's a joyful person.
You just walk away from Lauren and you feel better.
I did a lot of reading and a lot of cooking when I was younger.
Which is another thing we really like about Lauren. She's a fantastic cook.
We usually kind of describe it as I'm the more home-style cook.
Anytime Lauren's in the kitchen, I'm
We
hanging
are
out
there.
for a little longer.
She uses her spices more.
She's very skilled that way, and if Lauren offers to bring cookies, I don't ever turn her down because they're always so good.
She's inventive.
Very inventive.
Yes, yes, and she really got that on her own. That's not from either of us.
Right now, she is a cook. She is assigned to families who have special dietary needs. Just teaches them how to eat healthy and how to prepare good, wholesome, nutritious meals.
Good job, buddy.
I can't hold it.
I have 2 kids. My son Phoenix is 6.5, almost 7, and my daughter Eden is 2.
Mom, look at me.
1 for a boy and 2 for how little he is. He has a lot of empathy for people, and I've just been surprised by the concern he'll show about situations, like kids at school, people at church, friends. I just feel like he is very perceptive to people's feelings, more so than I've even noticed in some adults sometimes, and so I'm really grateful to see that in him, and I hope that carries throughout his life. She wants to do everything herself right now, so there's a lot of, struggle between trying to let her do stuff and she wants her own way all the time. But that is a good trait that I do like to see in her, that when she is doing something good, it's nice to see the tenacity that she has and how she'll stick with things. So I hope that she'll grow up to be someone who stands up for good things, who uses her strong spirit to be a good influence and a good example. In my early 20s, I was just seeing these weird things in my eye, and at first I thought it was like makeup. I remember thinking it was a bug. It almost looked like there was a dead spider or something in my eye, really small, but it looked like it had legs, and it was just these weird things that I was seeing. And then a couple of years later, my vision just completely dropped in my left eye, like with my contacts in, my glasses on. I couldn't see anything out of that eye. It was just, everything was like you were underwater. And slowly, over the course of a couple months, my vision just came back. I was doing the homework, and all of a sudden the right side of my body, starting with my face and all the way down my right arm, down through my foot, it just started getting that tingling feeling when your foot starts to go to sleep. And then it just felt numb and almost like it just lost function, and it only lasted 20-30 seconds. I remember that first day, I think it happened once or twice, but I remember quickly within a few days it was happening 10-15 times a day. I was so busy. I was heavy class load. I worked part-time. I had my son. It was a time in my life when I didn't have time for anything to be the matter, and I didn't think that anything was. I was waiting in the exam room, and the doctor had went out to get the MRI results, and he walked in, and his face was just drawn, and he looked like he wasn't really sure how to say what he needed to say. And I'll never forget that feeling when a doctor walks in and you can just tell by their face that something isn't good, something isn't right. He said, your MRI shows multiple lesions throughout your brain, which is evidence of multiple sclerosis. I had heard the term MS before, multiple sclerosis, but I had no idea at all what it was. So I'd love to help maybe make that a little more clear to others out there.
I have relapsed lately.
It's basically your immune system entering into your brain space. It attacks the myelin, which grows in like a carpet layer in hundreds of layers thick, that then drills a hole in the myelin, which then exposes the nerve fiber so that the nerve signals, when it hits that exposed area, it loses signal strength.
At my very first relapse, I had everything from blindness to numbness to I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk.
And so if the nerve signals from your brain, which is your command center, doesn't generate the signals and signals don't make it through to your arm is going to be weak and it's going to feel heavy.
I went completely paralyzed on the left side. I couldn't see, I couldn't think to talk. I could talk and move my mouth, I couldn't taste.
And then if it's severe, it'll just be completely numb, which is the complete absence of nerve signals.
For me with multiple sclerosis, it's in front of me all the time. I don't know if tomorrow I'm going to wake up paralyzed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see my children the next day.
Disability truly comes from the total number of lesions in the brain, cervical cord, spinal cord, and then also the optic nerves.
I try to always make sure that I capture their faces each night before bed because I don't know what the next day is going to bring.
It seems like I've probably had it for a few years, if not maybe 8 years before I got diagnosed.
So we ended up doing a screening MRI spine just to see what was there to serve as a baseline for future comparison in case she got disease. And I was shocked because it was riddled with disease. And I realized right there that I was dealing with someone who had such a high disease burden.
She said, I look at your scans and I know that you can't feel as good as you like to try to portray that you do.
There's a lot of redundancy in the brain. Pathways that if you knock out one, there's another pathway that's a redundant pathway doing the same thing or that can pick up the damage. Everything in the spinal cord is a tract going to your bladder, to a motor function, which is strength, to a coordination or sensory.
Historically for MS, for people who have as many lesions as I do and have as much activity on their MRIs, she just looked at me and she looked at my mom and she said, if we don't do something about this now on the path that you're going, you will be disabled and in a wheelchair before you're your mom's age. You can lay down all you want, and then after I get up and I think, I've just laid in my bed for 10 hours, this last night, and I still just feel this drain and my body just feels heavy and it feels tired.
The biggest thing I think that I've noticed with her is her energy level, how quickly she gets tired, and then when she does get tired, how completely exhausted she can become.
Her burden of disease activity is higher than you would expect looking at her, and her neurologic exam from the outside looks great. It's only because she's so young. Wait though 10-20 years with more lesions and she's using up all of her reserve that is going to get her through old age.
It's hard when you're still able to do everything that you need to do to try to put limits on yourself, to try to conserve energy, not because you can't do stuff, but because you're trying to be smarter about it. Making choices like to take the elevator versus the stairs, not because I can't do the stairs right now, but because doing the stairs is going to take up more of my reserve for that day that I'm going to need later to put my kids to bed. The things I used to like to do, the more labor-intensive kind of cooking, I find myself shying away from that a lot more and choosing simple, even just like freezer things or more convenience foods than I used to. Just the energy to wash the food, to chop it, to prep it, to cook it, to clean it. Like in my mind, I think about the whole process and I'm just like, oh, it's not worth it today. With work, some days I'll open a lot of cans. So one of my friends actually, we were talking about this and she mailed me an electric can opener, and that saves so much just wear on my hands. It is a tiny little thing, but it makes a difference. If you cause a lot of lesions now while you're young and fairly active and healthy, you're just making more damage that down the road is going to catch up to you.
I sometimes call it like death or disability by 1,000 paper cuts. Each one individually you bounce back from, but you put it all together and it's very disabling. She will have trouble with her balance. She will probably be using a walker, if not a wheelchair. She will probably be falling more. She will be really slow in her thinking with primarily difficulty multitasking, short-term memory. So I will give my patients handicap placards to use.
And it's something that I have very mixed feelings about. I'm super, super grateful for it, but I also feel a little bit guilty.
And they come back and they tell me that they don't want to use it because they're embarrassed, because they don't use a cane, they don't use a walker all the time. They pull into a parking stall and get out, and they get the stink eye from people because they don't look disabled. If you see someone in a disabled parking stall and they get out of their car and they don't look disabled, I would ask before you judge.
My doctor gave me a big stack of packets on all the different drugs I could start on right away, because that's the biggest treatment is disease-modifying therapies, or what they're called, DMTs.
The medication that she was on these powerful drugs that she was taking, they were to slow the disease down. They gave no hope for really making it better, for really seeing some significant changes.
Over the last couple years, the stuff on my right side has definitely continued to worsen. The things that I've been having happen aren't getting better, getting more frequent.
She never really achieved disease stability ever on any of the drugs that we used.
And my lesion count was increasing in my brain.
I didn't think there was any room for any more damage in her future. So I felt like we needed to be aggressive. Given her goals of wanting to be able to run after her kids, able to be there and to do everything that she wants with her family, which is so important to her, that we thought that we should go big and do stem cell transplant, give her the best chances of a disease-free state, because it's taken so much from her already.
When Linda first told me about it after she went to the doctors, and it was like, wow, this is really hopeful.
The stem cell transplant is this procedure that's offered oftentimes to cancer patients, but it has started to be offered to, or it's been explored now with multiple sclerosis.
Her disease warrants aggressive therapy to maintain her function, to protect her from disability.
The stem cell transplant is, I think, one of the only thing recognized at this time as really being able to stop progression. It's not a guarantee that it's going to stop it for everyone permanently, but because they give you the heavy chemo, it wipes out your old immune system. So it's everything that's going on in my body, my immune system now will be stopped. And then they start it brand new with stem cells that they've harvested from your bones before they gave you the chemo. The hope is that it kind of reboots your immune system like a computer would be rebooted with like a baby immune system.
And there are people out there after stem cell transplant who still have not had a relapse yet, have not had a new lesion yet, or any change or decline in their neurologic exam. So we're hoping that we might be able to say for those people that it's a cure.
This could minimize or totally eliminate it possibly, and I go, wow, this is really great that there's a chance that we could do this.
And in terms of the risk, it is all up front. It's that risk of having a complication of infection, for example.
I mean, she'll be completely susceptible to everything. She'll even have to have her immunizations redone.
Once you're through that period, though, the risk will go away, and it's not a risk that you carry forever because your immune system will reconstitute.
She looked at me and she said, "How are you guys financially? Because we need to get you the treatment, the stem cell treatment, as soon as possible."
It's just that the cost in the United States is so high that Lauren's not been able to get approval in the United States for stem cell transplant here, or come up with the monies, which is required, $200-some thousand cash.
It's still not recognized by most insurance companies for MS.
As a result, we've gone outside of the United States to Italy, which is one of the best centers in the world. That's our Sagardi's group, and that has a great track record, and it's more affordable.
I decided to do this for Lauren, this fundraising, because first of all, because I love her. I can't fix MS and I can't fix what's going on with her physically and mentally, but this is something I can do.
Today we have the Top This yogurt shops who are donating about 20% of whatever they make today to Lauren's cause. We have a large community garage sale. We have a pancake breakfast. We are also going to have a benefit concert in September where we have a local band who's donated their time to music, and we'll have a couple other local talent there to help us raise money. We've received a lot of donations from local businesses who have given us things like gift cards, just things that promote their business that we can auction off at like silent auctions or raffles at our big events. The reason we're going for $100,000 is to first cover the actual stem cell transplant treatment, which happens at Dr. Siccardi's practice in Italy. It will also cover the travel to and from Italy for she and her mom. Her mom will be her escort through the whole process. And then the money will also cover her immediate recovery, where she will need to have about 3 to 6 months of isolation, where she won't be able to work and provide for her family.
Well, it was really them that approached us.
In turn, it makes us, now whenever I see someone doing the same effort as us, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Here's at least $10 for now.
Kayla and Katie graciously took it on themselves to be the team, the leads in the team.
Yeah, I don't just skip through those stories in my news feed anymore now that I've been a part of it. It's like, what do these people have going on?
We were just kind of thinking it was going to be, an inside family thing.
I'm using a lot of online resources, so, Facebook, Instagram, youcaring.com.
I really wasn't that familiar with, like, the sites on social media that you can help and things like that.
Thank you so much. Like, we could not do this fundraising without every little bit that people are putting in.
People like to help. People generally want to help.
People are good. There's a lot of good in this world that doesn't get pointed out.
There are so many people that are helping in so many different ways through their time, through other talents that they have, that it's amazing. And it's such a blessing to see. They've expressed their love in such ways that I don't think I even, at this point in time, thank you seems so small.
If we could just take the money aspect out of it.
And they're both young moms.
And not have to have her worry about the fundraising.
They have little kids.
Have her parents take out a second mortgage.
They have other things going on in their life.
Have her take out a loan or anything like that.
They truly are angels.
Those are like 401ks that they're pulling out of.
They're angels in a body, that the Lord has given to our family.
We want them to have a future.
For eternity, they're going to have a special spot in our heart for all that they've done.
Our goal is really to allow them to have that.
And we just love them. We do just love them.
Him and I were just laying on the couch the other day talking about it, and he was just telling me how he doesn't like that I have MS, and I was telling him, that I don't like it either.
She has to leave to Italy.
He obviously wasn't happy about it at all.
We're going to have a few substitute grandmas here. We're going to have Papa here. We're going to have your friends here.
We're going to have a game night. We're going to go to the ice cream shop.
Yeah, World Without Lauren and her cookies and her smoothies and her conversations it'll be a little less bright for a little while.
Imagining her getting on the plane and stuff, I don't even like to think about that. I don't like to think about it. I don't like to think about what she's going to go through.
It's hard for me to see her in pain. It's hard for me to see any of my kids or my grandkids in pain.
She means a lot to me.
And so I will try my best to do my best when I'm with her, and then probably when I'm not with her, that's when I'll fall apart.
Not being able to come in and be with her for the 3 to 4 months that she's gone is going to be really hard, but I'm hoping for the years after will be more than make up for way more than the 3 months that she's not here.
By me doing all that I can right now when he's little, hopefully I'll be able to be strong and good and healthy still when he's an adult.
The other day, her little one, her 2-year-old, got sick. And so when she gets sick, she gets kind of clingy and she likes to be with her mom.
Eden always cries when her mom's gone, so I think she might cry a lot.
We've got to have her focus on taking care of herself.
Which is a little hard for her. It's hard for her to put herself first, and that's a new concept that she's learning right now.
He must still be able to handle it.
Life isn't meant to always be easy or to have, happy things all the time.
Watching her struggle through the depression and anxiety is really hard.
A consequence of this life, you know, a mortal, you know, our bodies are subject to illness.
Like watching her take her medication was hard, because you could literally physically see the medicine like bubbling in her skin.
I know that there's going to be days when it's going to be really hard and I'm going to be alone and I'm going to feel just, you know, sick.
She puts on a front that she's okay, but if you know her well enough, you can see past it and know that she's really struggling.
I wish this wasn't my life.
She's going to go through quite a trial.
But I haven't ever felt mad at God about it.
I don't look at this as a punishment or anything like that. It's a growth opportunity for Lauren.
I feel like the MS has helped strengthen my faith in belief that there's a purpose to our trials and our challenges, and the things that we go through aren't just meant for us to be burdened down with them, but they're meant to strengthen us and enable us to do more.
I mean, the Lord has a plan for everything. That's definitely something we believe, and we believe that He doesn't give us anything to go through unless it's for our betterment.
Like, I don't feel like I appreciated things the way I do now.
Life is more, there's more depth to it now for her. When you don't have limitations, you sort of assume that other people don't have limitations too. But when you start to have limitations or health issues, then it opens up your eyes to, you know, other people's challenges.
And to not just be a taker of other people's kindness towards me in this spot, but to be able to give just as much back.
I think she sees the purpose of life in a different way than she did before.
I've always believed in God, and I would consider myself a person of faith, but it wasn't until after I had my son that I became religious, and it was really good timing because I had a few years to kind of build a solid foundation before I got this MS diagnosis.
With her kids, her time with them, she wants it to be more meaningful.
He, I'm sure, was helping set the stage by the timing of me kind of developing greater faith and coming to a place where my spirituality was central to my life. Again, He's given me the friends and the support network.
You know, any of the difficulty that comes with it, I want to be there with Lauren.
His presence is right there next to us, helping us and inspiring other people to help us. And so we can feel His love through them.
I want to be experiencing every moment that she will allow me to be there with her. I want to be there with her.
I know more of a certainty that there is a God out there, and that, you know, yeah, things happen to people. Difficult things happen. But it's amazing how people come together around them. It just seems like it brings out the best in people.
I feel like He gave me a challenge, and He's like, and here's everything you're going to need to get through that challenge, and it's going to be hard, but you're going to have everything you need. And I do feel like that. And I say it, it's just a prayer in my head that I'm so thankful that my legs are walking and that they're taking me up each step. And I'm grateful that I'm able to pick up my daughter right now and carry her wherever I need to take her. And I'm grateful I'm able to help my son do the things he needs to. And I realize that not everybody is able to do that. And I feel a lot of gratitude that my body works right now. I know that my faith is going to be a strength at that time.
I see her reaching out to other MS patients and maybe even to other people with health challenges similarly.
What I would hope that people could learn about not necessarily MS, but for any health thing, like if something is out of the norm, as much as you don't want it to be something wrong, it is so much better to just check it out quicker and be more assertive, proactive about getting in and checking.
Lauren just is so excited, and she has so many ideas and plans for when she gets through this, of how she is going to help so many people go through this, and I do not doubt it.
I would love to help bring a little more awareness to how much it affects your mind in your life and your outlook on life. As hard as the physical part is, the mental part is by far the hardest part of living with a progressive disease.
So I know that she is going to do everything she can to inspire and help others.
Someone once told me that if I deny people the opportunity to help me, then it's like denying them the ability to get blessed and the blessings that God has for them. But that's still a hard thing when you're still the one who's feeling like you're taking so much time and help from people. One thing I would encourage people is when they do have struggles, whether they're physical or emotional, mental struggles, to be open about them, as hard as that is. You don't want people to feel sorry for you, and you don't want to be overly dramatic about that. I feel like sometimes with this MS stuff, you talk about it, and I don't want to make it sound harder than it is, but there's just something to be gained by sharing and by letting people help you. My hope with this is that I can get better from this season, and that everything that I've learned, that I can turn outward, and that I can be able to give back to other people the way that people have been helping me through this.
Just in watching Lauren and interacting with her, you can just tell she's a really amazing person.
My priorities now really truly are to be able to keep walking and to be able to keep functional so that I can do everything with my kids that I want to. So in a perfect world, I hope that this is a short season of life and that my MS is able to be stopped through this procedure and hopefully to not come back. That's what I pray for, but I also pray to have the strength to accept that whatever happens, to know that it's for a greater purpose, and that even if it does come back or if things are hard down the road, that it's going to be okay.
It totally makes you look at things differently. You have a whole different idea of what life is about.
I just feel like the time I do have, I don't want to waste it as much as I used to. I want to make it count. That's one thing that I would love for my kids to remember, that even when things were hard, that their mom was always able to be hopeful, to laugh about things, to find something funny or something fun to do to help kind of brighten up a dark moment.
Looking to the future, I feel very hopeful, you know, from what we've heard, other people's results and stuff, how well they've done. I think she'll have a lot less symptoms, and she'll just be able to do more, spend more time with her children.
I hope it works, I really do. Life is about family. It's about the family we have here, and it's about the family that we've had before, you know, our relatives, and the family we will have in the future. That's what my life is about.
The best way to donate is to go to youcaring.com and search for Lauren Augustinelli and donate right to her site.
We're so thankful for everyone's efforts.
Our hearts are really touched by people's concern and people's desire to help.